Hi guys, my name is Miguel Teixeira and welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we will deeply analyze some of the standard dynamics of Manchester City under Pep Guardiola, which were crucial in creating difficulties for Mikel Arteta's Arsenal. Let's start by explaining how Manchester City organized itself when in possession. They typically set up in a 1-4-3-3 formation, but as the team circulates the ball, they transition to a 3+1 structure in the build-up phase. Gvardiol, initially positioned as a left-back, joins Gundogan and Bernardo Silva as passing options behind the opponent's midfield line. Despite maintaining their structure and occupying specific spaces, Manchester City exhibits significant offensive mobility. Players are free to move around the pitch and interchange positions, as seen in the image, with Savinho and Bernardo Silva frequently alternating their roles. When the ball enters the wide channel, we observe a typical dynamic in Guardiola's team, which immediately aims to create 2v1 situations against the opposing fullback. This is achieved through the breaking movement of the player occupying the half space, aiming to exploit the space between the center-back and the fullback. Later on, you'll see how crucial this dynamic is for Manchester City to break the opponent's defensive line. Now, let's explore how Manchester City sought to create numerical advantages in the central corridor. As mentioned, alongside the two midfielders, Bernardo Silva and Gundogan, Gvardiol also joins as a passing option behind Arsenal's midfield line. Gundogan positions himself between Declan Rice and Thomas Partey, while Gvardiol and Bernardo Silva occupy the half spaces, trying to create a 3v2 situation against Arsenal's central midfielders in this area. When Arsenal managed to close down spaces, forcing Manchester City to play backward, Mikel Arteta's team shifted from their usual 4-4-2 defensive shape to a 4-3-3, with Martinelli joining the first line of pressure. To prevent Rodri from receiving the ball freely, Declan Rice attempted to push forward and get closer to Rodri, creating a 4v4 situation in that area of the pitch. Gvardiol's positioning posed challenges for Arsenal, particularly for Declan Rice, who found himself having to split his attention between Rodri and Gvardiol, who was positioned behind him. By utilizing a third-man dynamic to find Akanji open in the wide channel, Manchester City gains an advantage, with the ball carrier becoming available to connect the offense. To provide solutions for the ball carrier and transform the 3v2 in midfield into a free player to receive the ball, Manchester City's references positioned behind the opponent's midfield line make opposite movements to draw Arsenal's midfielder into one space, thereby freeing the opposite space. It's also important to note the role of having a reference in the opposite half space. Savinho's positioning inside helps to pin the opposing fullback in and frees the wide channel for Bernardo Silva to receive with more time and space. After varying the center of play, we see a crucial dynamic for Manchester City in this match. With Bernardo Silva on the ball, the player occupying the half space initiates a breaking run to attack the space between Arsenal's fullback and center-back. Notice Martinelli in the image. This dynamic creates confusion regarding which Arsenal player should track this breaking run, often leading the center-back on that side to follow. At the moment Savinho drags Gabriel, Gundogan attacks the space created between the center-backs, playing a vital role in helping the team break through Arsenal's defensive line. Now, let's analyze how Manchester City scored the first goal of the game. Here, we can see the team in its initial structure, with Walker providing width on the right flank and Gvardiol on the left, forming Manchester City's back four. As the team advances up the pitch, we observe Bernardo Silva, Gundogan, and Gvardiol moving to become passing options behind the opponent's midfield line. When the ball enters the wide channel, we see Manchester City's dynamic to break through Arsenal's defensive line. Bernardo Silva, starting from the half space, initiates a breaking run to attack the space between the opposing fullback and center-back. Initially, it is Thomas Partey who tracks Bernardo Silva's movement. However, if you pay attention here, he stops his pursuit, and from this moment on, Gabriel, the center-back on the ball side, takes responsibility for monitoring Bernardo Silva's breaking run. At this precise moment, as Gabriel is drawn in by Bernardo, Haaland makes a second breaking run, this time to exploit the space created between the center-backs. With Savinho now having time and space to make a decision, and Haaland having gained the advantage over Gabriel, Manchester City finds the perfect timing to break through Arsenal's last line and score the goal. To conclude, let's look at an example of Manchester City attacking against Arsenal's low block. As you can see, City maintains its structure, with 4 players positioned inside Arsenal's defensive block. Bernardo Silva, Gundogan, and Gvardiol are situated behind and between Arsenal's midfielders, while Haaland plays centrally, operating on the edge of offside in an attempt to stretch the back line and create space between the lines for his teammates to receive the ball. On the flanks, Savinho and Doku provide width and depth, and by playing preferably with their opposite foot, they are constant threats to Arsenal through one-on-one situations in the wide areas. With Arsenal defending with all 11 players behind the ball and in a compact block, Manchester City was forced to provoke play in one area to attract the opponent's attention before quickly switching the point of attack. When the ball enters the wide channel, we see Manchester City's usual dynamic of creating a 2v1 situation against the opposing fullback on the ball side, freeing up space at the edge of the penalty area for a combination play. In my opinion, at this moment, Gundogan could have made a breaking run behind the defensive line. This movement would be crucial in dragging Arsenal's midfielder, Thomas Partey, and freeing space for Bernardo to arrive at the edge of the penalty area unmarked. Alternatively, it could attract the attention of the center-back on that side, Saliba, creating space between Arsenal's center-backs for Haaland to attack in case of a potential cross or pass from Doku. Regardless, Manchester City manages to reach the final third with several players and create a new goal-scoring opportunity. And if you enjoy this type of content, don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss anything. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next video.